which airs every Monday at 7 p.m. A podcast where we share all the news, information, updates and events that is happening around the BMBA. If you're a current BMBA participant or a potential one, then this podcast is for you. BMBA Basketball is an exciting new basketball program providing new and innovative concepts and structures for junior basketballers through their training, coaching and games.
Our games are played at the magnificent Stonnington Sports Centre located next door to the Chadstone Shopping Centre. These courts are modern, have great temperature control and have fantastic facilities to host junior basketball matches. Our kids are now enjoying playing at this magnificent venue. On top of that, they are also enjoying the new features and concepts of junior BMBA matches. Features and concepts not seen before in junior matches in Melbourne. These features include a fully timed 60-minute match schedule, where the game clock stops on every whistle. This means there is no wasted time and our juniors get to play every minute of their match. Our juniors are also enjoying playing with a shot clock in each of their games. This provides another unique and exciting aspect to our junior matches.
This podcast will provide parents of our junior boys and girls, or parents of potential participants, with all the information they need to maximize that participation. It will also allow them to ask questions directly to us through the chat function of the podcast. So whether you are a current parent, a potential new parent, a representative from a club, school or another basketball program, we look forward to engaging with you each Monday at 7 p.m.
G'day everyone. Welcome to the BMBA Podcast for Monday, 2nd of March. The year's going that quick, it's crazy. There is my ugly mug with my boy and co-star JJ behind me on the couch, as he always goes to. He's a bit upset with me because I'm doing the podcast, but he'll fall asleep soon enough. So, welcome to a wet and wild Monday. Looking out over Port Phillip Bay tonight. Sorry, this is annoying me. And coming to you with a full program for the BMBA podcast, as we're going to do every Monday at 7 p.m. There's a bit going on, so I want to get into it. I don't really want to take much longer than half an hour, 45 minutes of your time if I can avoid it. But we've got a lot to get through if that's the case. Number one, from tomorrow, for all the current participants, we make this podcast available for current participants and interested participants, whether they be individuals, teams, clubs. From term 2, tomorrow we're putting out all our registrations for term 2. We are going to be introducing even more sessions for our current participants or future ones to be able to do it, to register in. We are getting access to court space at Orong Romanus in Paran. So that's on the western side of Stonnington, LGA, whereas Stonnington Sports Centre is on the eastern side. So we are going to be, now we've got Orong Romanus, De La Salle and Stonnington. So we're going right across the length and breadth of Stonnington Council, which is a good thing. That's what we want to be able to do to form the Stonnington and Districts Basketball Association under the BMBA Basketball banner. So that will be all happening this week. So you'll get some emails coming out with those registration details. It's a shorter term in term 1. So, a lot of you registered before Christmas, but those registrations for term 2 are now up and going. So if you can look at them, that would be great. Some of you would have got an email in regards to we're going to look to form at least 2 what we call our rep teams. So we have 3 levels at the BMBA. We have our junior training programs where kids just come in from whatever club. That could be BMBA, other clubs, beginners, and they participate in our training programs. Then we have our game programs. For any new ones, that's the equivalent of a domestic competition. At the moment, we're playing them on Friday nights. So we're doing this a bit reverse to other associations. So we're currently just doing that amongst BMBA players on a Friday night at Stonnington. Our kids are enjoying fully timed games, 3 referees, shot clocks, and a lot more game concepts where bylaws are actually enforced, not ignored. So, for example, matchup rules is enforced. So teams have to match up properly. And, I think the kids are really enjoying it because we use them in like a practice game environment. We have intra-club games. We mix up the teams each week, so all our kids get to play against each other. That won't happen once a proper competition is established, but we're doing that at the moment. And we're getting some terrific games, some terrific outcomes. Friday night came down to 2 points. And the other part that our kids are getting to experience that you don't get to experience anywhere else is in the last minutes, a coach can call a timeout and the clock stops, it just doesn't keep running, or even in the last quarter. Or you've got they can't have some gamesmanship where they try and run the clock down because there's a shot clock. So there's all sorts of different concepts that both coaches and players have to get used to, which makes it a much more fun game. So the kids are loving it. Despite it being intra-club, it's still very competitive. And the more numbers we get in there, we believe this will overtake the standard of a lot of other domestic competitions. But it's in its infancy. Our kids are enjoying it. They've now got a pathway to go from beginners to training to competition, or at least to matches, and that won't be long before competition. If you're a representative from another club, we would love to get some more teams into our competitions. Our kids are craving for that. In the meantime, our third level of competition is what we call our rep teams. So we have our matches on the Friday night. And from that training and games, we invite our best kids to come and form rep teams to go into the high standard Dandenong Basketball Association competitions. The standard out there is quite considerable. In fact, the higher divisions in Dandenong are better than most divisions in VJL in the normal rep basketball. So that's what we're doing, and a number of you would have got emails and that sort of thing from there. So if you're considering playing for that, don't register for any programs yet. For those who aren't, then you need to start registering and get ready for term 2. So you would have got that email out already if you were being asked to play on those teams. Otherwise, just register for term 2 and we'll go from there. But that all starts coming out tomorrow. If we could get those registrations in by the end of term, that would be really appreciated. We're growing each term, so the more registrations of current participants we can get in, the easier that makes it for term 2. Start of this term, it took us probably 2-3 weeks to settle things down. So, for example, we got more court space, which is working out really well. We now go from 5 o'clock through to 6:30. That's what we will be doing in term 2. Kids first is 6 till 7. So we got more court space on court 3 and an hour's court space on court 4. And that has worked out really well. We can go in and set up the venue and have everything in place. And then the kids are really set for their game straight after training. If you're an interested parent, what we do on a Friday night is the kids train. And then straight after that, they play a match. Kids love it. We get straight into it, and it helps us as coaches reinforce the things that we want the kids to try in a game. So it's a unique setup. It's I think, a really good setup, and certainly something better and more and different to what you'd find anywhere else. So if you're an interested parent, now is the time to maybe get down there, have a look before the end of this term, and then get your child registered for term 2. We're not going to be doing trial sessions moving forward, but you are able to come down and see the sessions in place. The reason we're not doing trial sessions is we've just had too many instances now where people come down, they basically abuse the trial system. They say, oh, can we get a second one? Oh, we're not too sure we get a third one. We've tried to accommodate it, but we're finding it's being abused a little bit. So sadly, because of the actions of a few, we're going to take that away. So now you're more than welcome to come to our sessions, have a look at what we're doing, see our coaching, see our structure, have a look around, and from that you should be able to judge whether you want to participate or not. So, and then we can get you registered once you do it. You can't take the court until you're registered and paid properly through our website. So if you're interested, go to our website. I'll put it up there. If you're an interested person, go to bmba.net.au. I'll just show it. So that's our website, or if you want to, you can email me. Now, I've had trouble with my emails. I think I've sorted it out. .au, which is pretty much like the cancel. What am I doing there? I nearly ended the stream before I should have. And here is my Oh. And here, that's my email address. If you go to our website, I'll share it with you. Hold on. And it's in a pretty straightforward format now. We'll give you a look on where you've got to go if you're a new parent or even if you're a current parent. Just make sure that's up and going. Come on, share. There we go. So if you go along to programs, and under programs, you'll see training programs and game programs. So if you're interested in just the training, you go into all these. We've got Kids First, which is for beginners, 5 to 10-year-old. The Basketball Plus is more designed for those kids that are past the beginner stage. They could be playing for a domestic team or the school team, and they're looking for something more. And then we have the IDP. The IDP is a lot like Basketball Plus, but instead of doing 1 session a week, you do 2 sessions a week. And we do have advanced groups in each of those sessions. The other thing we have got is game programs. So the Games Plus is if you want to do a Basketball Plus training session and then have a game that week. And the IDP games is where you want to do 2 sessions and have a game. And we also have, I should go down. If you go into games and tournaments there's options there to join what I just talked about with our rep teams. If you might be a kid who's played with another club or an association and you missed out on a rep team this year, you can play with us in our version of rep. So as you can see there, our kids played at a tournament on the Australia Day weekend, and part of the program this week is going over a tournament they're about to enter again this Labor Day weekend. So there's lots of different levels now that we're offering. As a basketball program, we're different in that we're a business. We're actually a company that offers training program, professional coaching, refereeing. We're not set up like your normal association. We try and keep our coaching and our refereeing totally independent as much as we possibly can. And that means you're not going to have a parent coaching a sibling unless we grant an exemption. Every now and again, you might get somebody of outstanding basketball knowledge that it would be remiss of you not to get them involved in your coaching. But we also want to keep our coaches away from the conflict of having to coach their son or daughter, because more times than not, in fact, 95% of the time, you're going to have issues that with other parents who think that coach is favouring their child, or worst case, that parent is too hard on their child. So we want it to be independent. So that's taken entirely out of the situation. And they're focused entirely on, our coaches are focused entirely rewarding effort. So that's how we go about it. You can find out more about that off our BMBA website. Just simply get online and search through it. And there's plenty of information there about all our programs, about our people, about the goals of the BMBA, all that sort of thing. And obviously the ability to register into a program. So there's all that on there. If you're a club, send me that email. I'll put it up again. We do have, actually, I might even share it again. Sorry, I should have done this. If you are a representative from a club, the place you need to go to. So programs, that's pretty much for BMBA participants. But if you go to competition, and we have the BMBA Invitational. So we have Super Bowl, representative, and domestic. All right, so there's the domestic. BMBA Invitational domestic, which is pretty much what we're doing on a Friday night at the moment. We will want to expand that to what we call a Super Bowl, which is your equivalent of a premier competition. And then we have our Central District representative, which we ultimately want to get playing up on a Friday night for clubs, academies, associations, all to play under the one roof. That's what we're building towards. So for now, if you're a club, I'd suggest you either click on the domestic or the Super Bowl. At the moment, like I said, we are currently playing those on a Friday night. So that's handy for you as a club. Again, here's all your information that you get. It goes through it in detail, 10 great reasons there for why you should join the Invitational. That's for an information booklet. So you got plenty of information. And then down here, you can register your team, register your players. Away we go. We don't use Play HQ. That's pretty expensive. So we keep it a lot more simpler than that. We actually use score sheets in the game, not laptops. So we expect everyone to, it's a bit old school on that side, but everything else is pretty relevant. One day we may convert to the laptops. I kind of like the score sheets because score sheet's never going to break down. You're never going to have to rely entirely on the internet, and you can get those sorts of things going. In the Invitational, we also have Super Bowl. Now, Super Bowl, we're going to be probably playing on a Saturday. Depends on discussions with clubs. And all these are designed. I've got to fix that heading up. All of these are designed. There, don't know what's going on. Got a bit of work there to do for me all of a sudden. This will be on a Saturday, and we call it Super Bowl because it offers extra. So I'll fix that page up so those headings come up a bit better. But the Super Bowl competition will be on a Saturday. The Friday night, we'll also have a division of it, but that will be what we call our Central Districts Rep Comp. And the Super Bowl is designed for, you might have a bunch of kids, for example, in most domestic competitions, you've got point system. So you might have 4 kids who play on one team, but they can't add their mates in because of the point system, because you're only allowed so many rep kids in it. What we're saying in Super Bowl, bring your best teams. It's up to other teams to get as good as your team to be competitive. That's what we want to get to. And in doing that over and over again, we should actually get a really high standard of basketball, which with really unique concepts, playing under basically the same timing rule as rep. And because we play later in the day, it gives all your kids a chance to have a second game. So that's what Super Bowl will be about. Central Districts will be about you picking, again, your best kids to come and play on a Friday night, the Central Districts rep. And we convert that to a little mini rep comp for clubs, academies, associations, for anybody, schools, anybody who wants to select players to represent their organisation. So whether that's a school, a club, an academy, an association, whatever it wants to be. So we think as the years go on, that'll be quite an exciting concept. For now, we've got the domestic side running on a Friday night, and our rep teams play on a Saturday out of Dandenong. But as our numbers grow, we will establish those competitions, and then, if other clubs wish to join us, they can. If not, we'll just keep growing the BMBA and go from there. So that's a quick rundown of what we're trying to do. As I said before, we have teams at Dandenong. Let's see if we can get the Play HQ up. Our boys, we've got an under-14 team that are playing pretty much in an under-15 competition. They have strange rules at Dandenong about their cut-off dates. So that caught us out this year. We could have actually had a bunch of the boys play in what they call an under-12 competition, which would technically have been, probably under-12s, under 13s actually, sorry. But we decided not to go that way because it would have meant 4 of the boys wouldn't have been able to play, and we want to bring this group through together. And they've done really well considering the age group they're in. We'll give you a look at their game on the weekend. We've had a lot of injuries and illness and player unavailability since Christmas. But as you can see, if I'm sharing it, which I'm not, sorry, I'll get the share screen up. Oh, you'll see out of this how well they've done in the last. We haven't won the game since Christmas, but we've been desperately unlucky. We could have easily won all 4. Our first game back, we got a bit of a belting from the top team. We've just played the Eltham Dandenong tournament. I think a few of the boys are a bit tired from that still, so we didn't really quit ourselves well then. But since then, we've lost by 5 points, by 6 points, by 7 points, and then by 2 points. In all those games, we've had opportunities to win. We could have easily won all 4, and if we'd done that in an under-15 competition, we'd be sitting on top. What's most pleasing is, as you'll see from the result on the weekend, I'll go through it a bit. You can see here we're doing this with only 6 players. So Zachy Chester has been having a great time of it lately. Got 18 points the week before, got 18 points this week. He's been very strong inside. We've been working with him on his inside game, and that's certainly paying dividends. Jackie was a bit tight and sore this week at training. I think that carried over into his game, but he still played well, just couldn't quite hurt the scorers, where the other week he got 8 points. Tahan got 4. We need a bit more out of him on defense and rebounding, but offensively he's more than capable. George, who I'm expecting big things from, he's still finding his feet, but he's had a couple of good games, and he certainly shows promise. And Lucas joined us late, so he's still getting into it. and he had 2 points. We've got a private player here, so I'm going to respect that request for privacy, but that private player knows who he is, and he played a really great defensive game on the weekend. Took on some bigger kids, got some rebounds, steals, doubled up, played one of his better games for me on Saturday. So well done, private player. Okay, I'll respect that as we go. So the boys have done really, really well. We should have won that game. We had so many chances, but I could say that for the last 4. So what I'm really happy with, what I'm really proud of, is the way the boys, we haven't won many games this year. It was really challenging at the start of the year. We were playing some very, very strong teams and big teams. The boys really have stuck to it. And where many other teams would have fallen over, our guys have actually finished up strong. It'll be interesting in our last game, no game this weekend because of the long weekend, but on the 14th of March, we play the top team. So we're playing them straight after a tournament again. So hopefully the boys are all right, but they're a beatable team. That scoreline doesn't reflect how competitive we were in that game, actually. We actually won the last 10 minutes of that. They just had one big who could play, and we sort of lost the plot a little bit. But if we can be ready for them next time, we might do all right. And then after that, the boys will go into their own age group. So they should acquit themselves really well in a proper age group for themselves, but it'll be a different challenge because they will be then playing in their own age group, but they'll probably be playing up against quicker, more skillful teams. So, by the way, if you're watching this and you've got any questions, send them through on the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them either at that time or at the end of the podcast. So those very same boys, I'm quite excited about this weekend. We played, as I said before, in the Eltham Dandenong tournament, and they acquitted themselves really well. Again, we were competitive every game. It's our story so far. We play hard. We just make some bad decisions when we're close to winning a game. And in that tournament, we showed against, I think it was an Altona team, when the boys get on, they won it by 20 points. So we only need a couple of wins like that just to change the confidence that they belong. And this weekend, we're playing in the Southeast Junior Basketball Tournament. So disappointing we're not playing lower level rep teams. So we'll be playing against predominantly I'm hoping they're decent domestic teams. And there is one rep team from Wyndham in it. The good news is we've got our 8 strongest players are all playing. I shouldn't say our 8 strongest. 8 of our strongest players is a better word, sorry, because there's some capable boys that aren't playing as well. So we've got 8 of our strongest players playing. Hopefully they're all fit and healthy. First time I'll have 8 in I don't know how long. And they've all been preparing for this, going through these tough competitions. So I think we're as ready as we possibly can be. Touch wood. Hopefully no one gets hurt or sick or whatever between now and the weekend. And I think we'll have some good news next Monday night. Hopefully we're talking about some success at the Southeast Junior Basketball Tournament. So it's the Labor Day long weekend. So the boys have got 3 games on Saturday. They've got another game on Sunday. I'm assuming if they make the finals, that will also be on the Sunday, and potentially if they make a grand final on the Monday. That's not beyond the realms of possibility. 2 years ago, we played in 3 tournaments, made 3 grand finals, but sadly lost them all. So we're still searching for that first grand final win for quite some time. So hopefully that'll come about this next weekend. But we should go in there pretty confident. We've got a very strong group going in there who've been together for a while now. And my teams usually perform their best when they have been together for a while. So it'll be nice to get through this tournament and then take them into the next Dandenong season, which is what we're trying to do currently by forming an under-12 boys team. We don't quite have the numbers for a girls team. I'm not too sure the under-12 boys team will get up. We need at least 7. So we've got a couple come back and said yes. We've got one who's come back and sadly said no. So hopefully we can get up enough boys to enter a team and have an under-12 and under-14 rep team representing the BMBA strongly at Dandenong next season. All right. I just want to quickly go over the Orong Romanus stuff on Saturday mornings from term 2. Orong Romanus, we are going to be offering 3 kids first sessions at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. So we've got the booking there from 9 till 12. It's a really nice 1-court recreation centre. Well, sorry, it's 2 courts, but we're only going to be using one. One of them is a smaller court. There's going to be a volleyball group, I think, going in there. So we're going to be using the main basketball court. So it gives our current participants another option for training, but it also gives us another area that we can draw players in, which then hopefully will increase our numbers for domestic and also bring in some talented kids who could play with those rep teams and represent us at Dandenong and in tournaments. If you're an under 12 boy that's been invited to those teams, you can also look forward to ultimately playing in that Dandenong competitions and tournaments as well. The other thing that we're offering on Saturdays at Orong Romanus will be Basketball Plus and IDP sessions, one 9 till 10:30 and one 10:30 till 12. I'll be looking to we're training other coaches and we're training referees, those coaches to be referees for our Friday night games. You'll see them on a Friday night. Please don't go near their benches. In fact, we would rather you sit on the opposite side to the player benches and the score bench. That's what should happen in a game. So if we get a polite request to leave the benches, if you could abide by that, we just want the coaches and players together working. They don't need a parent overlooking them. The other part, cheer on your kids, but don't coach your kids. So you've got coaches there that have been given the responsibility for that. Let them to do that. And if you're if you're not cheering on and you're giving instructions, you're actually going to put your child in a tug of war between what the coach is telling them and what you're telling them. And that only leads to heartache. We don't want that. It's been so much fun, especially with the under 12 group, to see how they're coming on and improving with every week. Just go to the side, enjoy your kid playing, enjoy the fun they're having, enjoy the new concepts of the game, support our refs, support our coaches. Look, we like every other association out there. There's avenues if you've got complaints, but we also will not tolerate any abuse. So that will be dealt with fairly quickly. So please don't put us in that position. And we shouldn't be in that. It's all about enjoying the game and having a bit of fun at the moment. That may change when other clubs join in and it becomes competitive, which it can do. But the Friday night game program is going really, really well. Our kids, if you've got a child in the kids first and the Basketball Plus sessions that we're running on Friday nights, I am training my coaches at the moment. Ultimately, I want my coaches, my trainee coaches, to be able to take these sessions, and then I can get round and supervise those sessions. That's the goal. To do that, I've got to train some of my coaches with my more advanced Basketball Plus sessions, so I can get to in the Basketball Plus. We've separated that group into two groups. So we've got those ones that have been with us for a while and know their ball handling sheets. And we've got those who haven't been with us for a while and don't know their ball handling sheets. So they're getting some help in learning those sheets. Once they understand those sheets and they get them to a level, we then progress them on into the more advanced Basketball Plus session. Same thing with the kids first. The kids first they also learn the ball handling sheet, believe it or not. They do a bunch of drills that teaches them all the warm-up drills in our ball handling sheet and teaches them their first game dribbles. Once they learn those, we'll then move them into Basketball Plus as well. I'll give you a look at where you can find these from. In a minute, I've just got to get it up. But that's the way we do progression. The more effort you put into your basketball, your son or daughter, the more they will progress. We've got two girls, for example, working with the boys predominantly on Saturdays, and for the first time, they got through their sheet. So our coaches, our players, even our parents are given an absolute structure where their child can progress. It's not about who you know or what you know. It's about what you work hard to achieve and being rewarded when you achieve it. And I believe that's the only real way to be able to go about this. I'll give you a look at that webpage in a minute. It makes us uniquely different from everyone else. The other part is because all our trainings are structured in the same way, we can bring kids, which we're doing on the Friday night. You don't necessarily have to train as a team together. They're all going to be getting taught the same things. Their teamwork will come together on the game nights. If you can get the whole team together, great, but we don't want a kid coming in because they can't make a certain training night, then they don't play. So a kid can be in a team with, for example, his mates. And what can happen is he might not be able to make their training session. Well, that's fine. he just comes to another Basketball Plus training session, and he can join their team on the game day. So he will train away from the team, learn exactly the same thing, and then he'll come and play with the team knowing exactly what they know. So it makes it a bit better. So I'm going to share this page with you. This is our playbook page. Everybody should really be using this. I don't think everyone does, which is a bit disappointing. But that's our playbook page. If you, I'll try and go back here a little bit. So there's our website, right? And if you click here just on playbook, and it's password protected because we found other academies and club stealing our content. We only want this available for you, our BMBA participants. So once you put the password in, it gives you access to a bunch of content. I'll show you the Temple Warriors page in a minute. But so, for example, here's our offensive stuff. This will be for the more advanced kids for now. But it goes over man-to-man offense, motion offense without screens. So, for example, our Basketball Plus group that's working with me, we are working on this through their Basketball Plus session. If you're in the intermediate group or the starting group for Basketball Plus, you're just doing all skills. You're getting taught some of those cuts. If you're in Kids First, you're not getting taught any of those cuts at the moment. If you're in advanced ones, you'll be here. So it's broken down a little bit, and our coaches can refer to this, as can our players. More importantly is this ball handling. So when you hear me talking about ball handling stage 1, 2, 3, 4, this is what I'm talking about here off the playbook page. So there's ball handling stage 1, stage 2 advanced, and then stage 3 is NBA skills. We're working on this one. That one's not set. The other part in the yellow is how-to videos. So your son or daughter might go to a training session, and we'll show you this in a tick. Let's go into the ball handling stage 1, which is what most of our kids are all working. Not many on the stage 2 yet. Only one kid is. So shows you how challenging that can be. But our ball handling stage 1, we have a drill list, videos demonstrating drills, which I just talked to you about. And we also have a video here. This is my former captain of my Big V team. With the trendy music, we'll put that out in a minute. So that's a kid called Spud. That's his nickname. And he goes through all the drills that we do. So the kids, if they want, and we put up, there's the name of the drill, and this is taken off the sheet. So off their sheet, if they had this video and their sheet, they can work out what they're doing on the ball handling drills. Okay? Which is what they get here. And Spud or Josh, when I first took him, he could barely handle the ball. By the end of the time he did with the ball handling drill, he got so good. He was not only my point guard, he became my captain. But these are great examples of how to do these drills quickly, and one from the other. He knew them back to front. If the kids look at him, they'll see that he's got his eyes up, how he's got control of the ball. That's what we call hand-on ball talent, which you develop. These, again, different drills. All the kids would understand these drills, have been with me for a while. They do them. They just don't do them this well. The ball's low, vision's up. And, our kids have to catch, for example, on that, where this ball's not touching his body. He's just going across his knee. So you can't do it much better than what he's doing it there. So that's on that. And here is their drill list. I'll get this up so I can explain it a bit. So you might have been seeing these, the kids get these. These are all the drills that you just saw Spud doing. Okay. Round the right leg through the back. These are machine gun dribbles. Round the left leg through the back. Then the right leg through the front. Then the right leg, then figure eights. So, for example, all our Kids First kids, they're doing these ones. They're doing number 4. They're doing number 5. They're doing number 6. That we've just started them on these 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the figure eights. We haven't quite started them on the spider dribble. We've done a bit. We are doing crossovers on the spot. So that's what they're working on. The intermediate group should have these up to number 17 in place, and they're working through. We have right here from 18 to 20 what we call change of direction. Then 21 through to 23 is change of pace, and then from 24 onwards, they're all more advanced drills. So the boys in the middle group are working through these, whereas most of the kids in our advanced group know all of these drills. So they're working to learn them like memory. So that's that ball out. So that sheet they take home, if you want to get the biggest bang for your buck, get the kids onto that playbook page. We should have sent you all the password out that's protecting that page. If not, you don't have it, send me an email. I'll send it through to you again. And then you can, if you don't have the sheet, you can download it. You can get the video. You can get your kids working on this at home. My recommendation, while they're young, 2 to 3 times a week at least, outside what we do, and you'll see some dramatic improvement in their skills. So if they've got a space at home, and you don't need a big space, as you saw with Spud, just a bit of a square metre of spacage. Could be out in the garage, could be on a driveway, could be in a footpath. If you've got a basketball court in your backyard, could be down the local park. It will take them probably 30 minutes to begin with, but over time, the better they get, it'll go down and down, where they'll be getting through that in less than 8-7 minutes. So the more they work on it, the better they're going to get, the more they're going to progress, and the more they're going to get rewarded. Because ultimately, when we form teams, the kids that break that ball handling sheet, one thing we say to the kids all the time is, if you meet these tests and pass them, because all the kids, if they get to a point, we want to test them, and if they pass that test, they become a guaranteed point guard in our team. No matter how many times they muck it up, they've put in the work, we reward the work, and then they become point guard. So we've got one boy like that in the under 14s. We've got a number of boys like that pretty close. So we're hoping to have about 8 of them that are all breaking the ball handling over the next 6 to 12 months. And then it's really going to take a life of its own when it does that, because straight away you eliminate turnovers. You can be more aggressive with the dribble. You're going to get more shots because you're going to go past defenders more. You get out in fast breaks quicker because your forwards will rebound, can dribble out, which we're starting to develop. That's one reason why we're being more competitive on a Friday night. So a lot of good things happen. So you get introduced for you newbies to that ball handling sheet, and we keep you on that until you're ready for the stage 2, which is far more advanced. And then we have the NBA skills one on stage 3. While that's advanced, it's also a lot of fun. So kids learn a lot more about shooting, the really advanced ball skills, but by that time they're ready to learn them. So, you will continually progress in every single term that your child's in. That program gets implemented. Our coaches get taught it. Our coaches already have a good level of skill. Some of our coaches have been through the program. So they will come in and they will teach it, and they have to. Our coaches get paid, and as a part of that wage, they've got to implement the program. So we've got a program there that's nothing like anything else out there. Not even rep programs I know do what we're doing. So it's a step-by-step progression. Any child can follow it, and if they follow it, they'll get the game to a very high level. We do the same thing for shooting. We do the same thing a little bit for offense, or we break it down and teach it. So, in 2 years' time, your child, if they put the work in, should improve their skills, their knowledge, their game, their teamwork, their enjoyment, the way they can contribute. All those things should start falling into place. That's what should happen. And the only way, if it can't happen, is if you sabotage it. So that's what it's all about at the BMBA. So before anyone asks, we won't be doing holiday camps this term. Sometimes we do holiday training, but holiday camps is a lot of work for not a lot of reward, to be honest. And, you've got to be there all day. And I'm not real keen on just simply doing a babysitting service. And what I mean by that is people use the camp to put their kids in so they can go to work or whatever. We eventually will get there. But all our camps are designed to improve skill and improve participation. In past camps, we've had kids who've been registered for a whole day that pretty much can't bounce a basketball and 5, 6, 7 years of age, and who are mentally fatigued by after about an hour and a half and don't want to be there anymore. And that creates all sorts of troubles for our coaches. So we'll be organising another camp. We haven't done one for quite some time, but we are going to be organising another camp for the September holidays. So keep an eye out for that as we go forward. So, we've achieved, for those who've been with me throughout, I think it's a bit stunning on how much we've achieved in just over the 12 months since we've moved into Stonington. I think there's a lot of scope for achieving a lot more now. And we certainly have an arrangement with council where, as we grow in numbers, our acquirement of space at venues throughout Stonington will also grow until we can get it to capacity. So that's what we're looking to do. So anyway, I think I've carried on enough. To my under 14 boys, eat well, sleep well this week, do your studies, be ready for training Wednesday, and we'll have a light training on Friday night to just get our shot and dribble in place, and we'll be ready to go on Friday. For everybody else, there is a training and game on Friday. There is no sessions on Saturday. None, because of the long weekend, and obviously we've got the tournament, so there'll be no sessions this Saturday, and we'll be back into it from the following week, okay? But remember, those registrations for this term are coming out. Sorry, not for this term, for next term. Should be coming out to your inbox tomorrow. It'll also be on the website. If you don't get it, get in contact with me and let you know. So no one's come through. I can't wait to my first questions. No one's come through with a question. Not too sure how many we've got watching. If any, might find out actually. See if we've got anyone watching. Monday, 7 o'clock is not hard, but I'll put these out anyway so people can watch them later. So it's not a big deal if we don't get too many watching. We are going to get guests eventually onto the podcast, and we might even be doing, when I can get the time, some reviews of other basketball. So here we go. So whether it's let's go under there. That's just me rubbing on. Sorry. So, yeah, we might get guests. And we also might do a bit of this takes a bit of time and effort. We might do a bit of summary, not just our games, but maybe the NBL, NBA, even look at maybe some results from Big V season coming up, just basketball in general. We're certainly going to be doing some tips as well. So we want to make this a really good podcast where we go over results, go over news, go over events, but also provide tips for all our budding youngsters out there, whether that's on ball handling, whether that's on shooting. I'm going to research YouTube and share some clips with coaches and players, hopefully high-profile ones. It'll give you some valid tips about a number of the skills in the game. We're going to start some of those sessions from next week. So there's going to be lots to look at. So this won't be like your normal written newsletter. It's going to be the podcast. This will be our newsletter for the week, and hopefully give you as much information as we possibly can. So hope you've enjoyed it for this week. How long have I been going? 43 minutes. That's definitely long enough. So I will see you all around the courts on the weekend. Stay safe, or at least on Friday night, and I'll see my under-14 boys on Wednesday and the rest of yous on the other sessions, whether you're Kids First, Basketball Plus, or IDP, in the sessions coming up.